It's your boy, Jay George, and I'm coming at you live right now from the Melrose Ballroom. We just got done with a very exciting MLW Battle Riot show here. This is the second Battle Riot. The first one took place here historically in this building, so they're coming back, keeping up the tradition, and it's WrestleMania weekend, man. It's exciting stuff.
Now, do you have any matches that you're excited to see at WrestleMania this year?
At the actual event, the actual pay-per-view itself, WrestleMania, I mean, there's just so many matches going on right now. There's so much competition in the air, and everybody's going out and giving their best, not once but twice, 3 times a day, and it's really exciting to see. But as for WrestleMania itself, I'm excited to see the triple threat women's match, and I think it's going to be very cool because this is history in the making.
Okay. Now, what gave you the inspiration to become a professional wrestler?
I think the moment that I realized that I was going to become a wrestler was watching Kane beat up the Brood on Monday Night Raw, and from that moment on, I just knew that this is going to be the path I was going to walk down on, and it's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride now, you know, so I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Nice. Now, what kind of training did you have to become a pro wrestler?
A lot of... one of the things I've prided on myself is I've always wanted to be like guys like Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero, Lance Storm, who traveled the world and learned different styles. And I've gone to places like Mexico and trained in Arena, Mexico for CMLL. And I've gone to places like WXW and trained in Germany for 2 months. And now I'm going on other international ventures. And my goal is to wrestle everywhere around the world. So my goal is to be able to learn and adapt to anything. So that's the kind of training I've done where I'm able to mix up different styles.
Okay. Now, what was your favorite time period or era in wrestling history?
Oh, man. To go back and watch, I have to say that pre-Attitude Era 1997 is one of my favorite years in wrestling. But I have to say from like 2002 to like 2004, 2005, I felt like the wrestling just got up on another level when you had guys like Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Triple H, RVD. These guys were just at the top of the game, and Rey Mysterio's coming in, and not only that, but the independents were starting to thrive with guys that you've seen here tonight, guys like Low-Ki, Homicide, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Colt Cabana, and now they've taken professional wrestling as a whole to a whole nother level, as you can see by this insane weekend that we're being a part of right now.
Okay. Now, what was your whole thoughts on the whole invasion angle that WWE did with WCW and ECW?
I was super. I really I think if you go back and watch that Survivor Series match, as a match, it's a really good match. Obviously, you couldn't get the big guys that you wanted to see. You didn't get Goldberg in there, and Hulk Hogan and NWO didn't come until after. So it was definitely a little bit underwhelming. But I mean, I still enjoyed the big payoff and everything, and was still kind of excited to see how everything was going to transform. And I was looking at it long-term picture. Sure.
Okay, now do you have anything else you'd like to add or anything you'd like to shoot on at all? Or
what do you want me to shoot on?
Just pretty much anything. Just cut burn the carpet down, rip anything, unfiltered, uncensored.
Well, I don't want to burn any bridges or anything, right? You got to be careful. But no, I will say I'm out here this weekend, and I'm not, truth be told, I'm not booked on a lot of events because I spent a lot of time out of the country, so it's kind of hard to make the proper connections in time for this weekend. But it is motivating to see a lot of my peers going out there, and this is the height of wrestling is this weekend, and I'm hoping in the future next year to be a part of it. And you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, jgeorge489, and then you can also find me on YouTube.
And it's an Outbreak title match. Coming to the ring first, hailing from Havana, Cuba. He weighs in at 195 pounds. He is the Lucha Underground's Cortez Castro.
What an honor. Tonight, fighting here in CCW, we have from television's Lucha Underground, Cortez Castro, the current Outbreak champion. We are honored. We are graced to have this man in our presence. Smooth. This is an honor. This guy is a legend. One of the greatest wrestlers on the planet right now.
I'm a huge fan of any kind of lucha libre kind of stuff, or lucha underground stuff, or Mexican wrestling in general. I think that this is going to be a great matchup, and he's got his hands full today with this man.
He hails from Tokyo, Japan. Weighing tonight at 325 3/4 pounds. He is the Japanese sensation, Mr.
Wow. Mr. Ping. The one, the only, the Tokyo's finest export. 325 3/4 of massive man. The Japanese sensation himself, Mr. Ping, live right here tonight in CCW.
Mr. Ping has done it all here in CCW. He's been around a long time. He's well respected by the fans. The fans love him. Look at this guy. Who wouldn't love him?
Absolutely. He is, the Japanese guy is definitely one of has the size advantage right now, but Cortez clearly has the wrestling advantage. He has wrestled all over the planet. He has been successful all over the planet.
Yeah, I think this is actually a big match for both of these guys, because he's been successful all over the place, and he's coming into a territory where he hasn't really been around very much, and this is Mr. Ping's, this is his backyard. So, I mean, it's a big, crucial match for both people.
Sure is. And it's even more crucial because it's the Outbreak title match.
Well, when you're walking around with the Outbreak title, I mean, you got a bullseye on your back. So, I mean, these guys are gunning for him.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that belt look good on Mr. Ping's mantle back home?
I don't know if it can fit around that massive waist. You might have to get some extensions put in. The big guy from Tokyo. Locking him up with Cortez Castro.
Referee Ian Short going to be refereeing this one.
It's an important match, a title match. So what do you think about the weight advantage here? We got a guy who is 325 3/4 pounds full of sushi versus the man that's 195 pounds in Cortez. Castro. It could be.
Look at him move. I mean, look at him, man. He's moving around like he owns the building.
Cortez.
So I think he's a little quicker than the big man, but I think that both styles. Look at this. Mr. Ping can go too.
Mr. Ping's athleticism impresses me every time. You don't think a man his size can do some of these maneuvers, but
he's one of the more agile guys here at CCW.
At 325 pounds. But the world-traveled Lucha Underground superstar, Cortez Castro, back in control. If this thing's going to be a mat wrestling match, hands down, this is Castro's match. No way he's losing that kind of match.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though, Ping can get technical, too. I mean, just keep watching him. I mean, you're going to see that he can go toe-to-toe with any technical wrestler.
Ping is impressive. Wow, roll through. Nicely done. I am impressed. He's definitely hanging in there with the wrestling of Castro here.
It's like he's just picking his weak points and just attacking.
Off the ropes. Whoa. Second rope, cross body. See, that's what we're talking about. This guy, the big man, can do some moves that.
He can fly.
Oh, running knee strike to the head. You can hear that in the crowd.
Here we go.
Vertical suplex, nicely done. I'll tell you what, this title's in jeopardy right now. Castro in some trouble. 2.
The thing that people don't really understand about Mr. Ping is that this guy,
there's a lot I don't understand about Mr. Ping.
Yeah, he's been trained by some of the best, and he trains some of the best. People might not know that, but he's a trainer himself, and he can really kick some ass in there and do some things that get in there with some people you wouldn't want to normally get in there.
Oh.
Mr. Ping could take him out, no problem.
I got to question the validity of Ping's Japanese ancestry. That's what I'm calling into question here. Oh, nicely done by Castro. But I would willing to venture a bet that Castro's wrestled more matches in Japan than Ping has. Just my guess. Stomp by Castro. Chin lock by Castro.
You know, with Ping, I don't know. I mean, the Japanese culture just runs through him. I mean, you can just see it in him. You know what I mean?
All I know about seeing stuff is I've seen Cortez Castro on Lucha Underground. The man's a star of a television show. Lucha Underground, ever heard of it? Only one of the biggest wrestling programs on the planet. And he's one of the stars. And we're honored to have him here tonight.
You can tell by the way that he gets around the ring that, I mean, he's on another level of Mexican wrestling. You know, the way he gets around.
Oh, he knows all the styles. Oh, I'll tell you what, Smooth. He can do any of the styles, not just the Lucha Libre style. He'll do your American smash wrestling. He'll do your Japanese stiff wrestling.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell he's well cultured.
Oh, he'll do the British catch wrestling. He can do it all. He's all over the planet. This
Into
man's
the corner,
wrestling.
Pig bounces out.
Wow.
This is that momentum that we were talking about earlier. But once these guys start feeling it, it's hard to stand in their way.
The veteran Castro should know not to run into the man that's 325 pounds. That's how a guy like Ping will put you away. He's got the power advantage. He's got the size advantage, the leverage advantage. Ping's got some advantages. Oof. You can hear those.
Your guy better watch out.
You can hear those chops, folks, all throughout the arena. When you're here live, it's unbelievable.
Pig coming back in. Cut
Oh,
off.
double drop kick. What a matchup. CCW Live.
It's an honor to be called this matchup with you, Matt.
Absolutely here, Rick. We're doing great. Rick Smooth and Mac Dahmer here calling the action for you.
The Ping gets whipped around like a...
Steps on his face. After the snapmare, Cortez,
He's having a
excellent.
hard time seeing. Oh,
Knee
right
to
in
the back.
spine.
Oh, he works him over. Cortez Castro, he'll pick you apart like a hyena, bit by bit. He's loving this. This is a regular Saturday night for him.
Referee, get in there. Check that choke. He's just clawing at his neck. Wearing him down one way or another. He's just... Big
Ping.
elbow by Ping.
Channeling some of his Japanese legends here, like the Great Muda, Kenta Kobayashi.
Irish whip off the ropes. It kind of reminds me of Masada Tanaka.
Oh! Reminds me of Kenta Kobashi for sure. Kenta Kobashi and very similar style. Shinya Hashimoto maybe. Running power slam.
Shades of the British Bulldog right there, Davey Boy Smith.
That was 325 pounds crashing on top of you as you're crashing into the mat. Double impact.
Oh!
Deep trouble here for Cortez Castro.
Stomach.
Oh!
Nearly
Ping.
took his head off. Like a train rolling through.
Oh! That was from the mean streets of Havana, Cuba. That right. Like a beautiful sunset in a Havana night. Irish whip.
Oh!
Step up insecurity. Oh, running.
Again.
Beautifully done. And
Cats out on the streets of Cuba.
absolutely. There it is. Ball game.
That's it. He rolled
Castro
him.
spun him inside out. 1, 2, 3.
No!
Wow. The
He's
fight.
got some fight.
Yeah, the fight in this Mr. Ping is commendable. Cortez
Got
Castro.
that Japanese spirit to him. He's ready to go, and he's not going to stop until, it's like a battle to the death.
That's those Japanese samurai kind of battles that Ping is also familiar with. But he's in there with a real superstar in Cortez Castro. This guy's no joke. Oh. Both men hurting. Cortez charges. Step up insecurity by Mr. Ping. Whoa! 1, 2, 3.
No!
You can't get much closer than that.
Call that. That was a sit-down spinning power bomb.
That one, I don't even know what you'd even call that one. A ping bomb right there.
Ping bomb.
He just pinged him right there. Pinged him right into the mat. And I think Cortez Castro's about to get ponged. Ping ponged. International warfare here tonight, CCW. Cuba versus Japan. This is like E-Honda versus,
This is the kind of stuff that we grew up watching back down at the ECW arena and seeing how the Japanese and the Mexican stuff would intertwine with some of the Tajiri super crazy matches, things like that.
Absolutely. Here we go. Oh, gets off of his back. Oh, the referee. Oh, gets squashed. The referee gets hit and he's down. That was brutal. Now the ref, come on. Getting yelled at by Mr. Ping. Here we go. Castro's up. Low blow. Ref saw nothing. Cortez Castro, DDT. And he goes for the cover. 1, 2, and
No, he got out.
How in the world did he kick out of that one? What action here tonight? Long 2.
Crowd wants Ping.
And Cortez Castro gonna cheat and bring a steel chair? No.
Ian Short gets to a top. He just laid out.
Vicious right hand. Castro's out.
It only takes one punch from Ping to lay you out on the outside concrete.
Absolutely. There ain't any mats down there, folks. No cardboard to fall through on that one. This is brutal outside the ring action. Referees count. Oh,
Kicked him right in the ass.
that's a butt kicking. 7 count. They better hurry. This one could end. Title match. 10. That's it. Bell is wrong, and your winner is neither man. Come on, count out.
Double count out here. Man.
What a mashup that was right there.
This contest is a double countout.
Wow. So the man from Cuba keeps the championship. He is the Outbreak title holder still. Cortez Castro.
My name is Rick Reinhardt, and I'm here with Conan here at the MLW show in Queens, New York. And it's an honor to interview you, Conan.
All right, what's up?
So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. How were you brought into the NWO situation in WCW in the 90s?
I used to hang out a lot with Hall and Nash. I used to drive up with them from town to town with Rey Mysterio, and when they were gonna, how did they get me? Oh, so they just told me one day they wanted to put me in the NWO, but Eric didn't want to because there were too many people, which there were. So they put me in the NWO, white and black, kind of like the C team, if you will, because they had so many people in it. And then they started the Wolfpack, which was a faction, an offshoot of the NWO, which was Luger, Macho, Nash, Sting, and me. And so then the Wolfpack is like really where I was really, they gave me the most shine. Yeah.
So who are maybe like the top 5 favorite people in the wrestling business of all time that have really helped you out?
Eddie Guerrero for sure. this guy Super Astro, who's one of my teachers, Rey Mysterio Sr., who's one of my teachers, Negro Casas, who's a legend in Mexico. And when I got to United States, I think Nash, Hall, and X-Pac really helped me out a lot because I didn't know the American psychology or even how to work American style. So they helped me on American style. Jericho helped me a lot too. Yeah.
Who would you say is involved in your greatest match of all time?
I don't know what that would be. I've been in a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones, but some of the best matches that I could remember are the ones I made the most money in. With this guy in Mexico called Perro Aguayo, another guy called Cien Caras. But I think I had a lot of great matches with Eddie Guerrero when we first broke into the business in Ciudad Juarez in Mexico. Some of that shit is on YouTube. Really cool shit we were doing back then. Anytime you wrestle with or against Rey Mysterio or Chris Benoit or Psychosis, that was always a great match. Or Jericho, that was always a great match. Disco Inferno, I had a lot of good matches with. Scott Hall was fun to work with. Yeah.
Any really good ECW stories that you want to share?
ECW, I can't remember one off the top of my head, but this is an ECW story. So Paul Lee had asked me, he was like, hey man, I heard that Eddie Guerrero and Love Machine are a really good tag team. I go, yeah, they won the Tag Team Observer Tag Team of the Year. That's how good they are. He goes, I'm thinking of bringing him into ECW. And he goes, hey man, about that Rey Mysterio kid in Psychosis. I go, look, with all due respect to everybody on your on your roster, when they go in there, they're going to blow that place up. People are just going to go crazy over them. He says, yeah, I heard they were really good. I'm going to bring them in. And I remember that the show wasn't even over yet, and I was getting a phone call from him because I couldn't make it that taping because I was in a TV taping in Mexico. And I was like, wow, the show hasn't ended. Maybe somebody got hurt. So I answered, and it was Paul Lee, and he was like, hey, can I have them next week? Those guys are incredible. Can I have them next week? And I go, I told you, bro. And yeah, and that's that infamous match where Rey Mysterio and Psychosis debuted and just fucking, it's on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? They just lit it up.
Man, that just gave me chills just even thinking about that. I mean, that was a really interesting time period for pro wrestling, too, like that 95, 96 era when everybody was kind of starting to surpass WWF with some of the stuff they were doing. What was it about those times that made wrestling so special?
I don't know. We were just living in a different time as a society. We weren't as politically correct. I think the bad guy was now the good guy. Like if you went to see the movie Heat, you liked Al Pacino, but you also liked Robert De Niro. Everything was changing. Grunge music was coming in. Gangster rap was very popular. It was a different time, and the fans were really wilder. And and just Paul Lee was so way ahead of his time. What you were watching on ECW, you weren't watching anything remotely that, even close to being that edgy. Not to mention the soundtrack he was using was incredible because he had everybody from Alice in Chains, Nine Inch Nails, Ice Cube. I mean, his shit was really eclectic. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that concludes the interview. Thank you, Konnan. I really appreciate it.
Yo, this is Alan Fenstermaker here with Lance Inouye. How are you doing, Lance?
I'm doing wonderful. Tired after this Super 8, man.
Awesome, man. How does it feel to be the winner?
Oh, it feels awesome. Like I said before, man, I've been doing this 10 years, and I always heard about the Super 8 tournament. That's always been a dream of mine. And to come here and be in my first one and also win it feels awesome.
That's awesome, man. Now, do you have any inspirations growing up to become a pro wrestler?
Yes, just following my family, man. I grew up traveling with my dad. My dad used to roll me around on his suitcase when he traveled to Raw, SmackDown, or not even SmackDown because there was no SmackDown, but just all the pay-per-views. He'd just bring me on his suitcase, and ever since then, I knew it was something I wanted to do, but I honestly never wanted to do it. I always was a baseball player. Okay. But after high school, I got the itch, and then I just wanted to do it, and then ever since then, I've been grinding and just doing what I can to make my family proud.
Awesome, man. Now, you said you played baseball before, too. Now, is there any kind of training that you do similar? How would you compare baseball to pro wrestling training?
Man, training is completely different. To train to be a wrestler, man, you got to expect to get hit by a car every single time you hit that mat. Because they say your first time taking a bump is feels like you're getting hit by a car that's going 35 miles an hour, and your body's just not made for it. Baseball, it's a whole different story, just conditioning-wise. So.
Okay. Now, like, what was your favorite era or time period in pro wrestling history?
It has to be the Attitude Era, just because how much different things were. It was more. It was entertaining, but it was also aggressive. Like there was always these savages. There's all these different characters. It wasn't a spot fest. It was just everyone had their own persona. Third generation. My father is Head Shrinker Samu, and my grandfather is Alpha, the Wild Samoan. My cousins are the Usos, Roman Reigns. The Rock is my second cousin. Umaga, Yokozuna, it's just my whole family. Like, and there's even younger guys. There's my cousin who's still independent, who's killing it, Jacob Fatu, which is Tonga Kid's son, and then Sefa, he's Rikishi and the Usos' younger brother. So we're just going, grinding, and keeping the family lineage going.
Okay. Now, what are some of the highlights of your career?
One of my favorite highlights was, I forget what year, but it was in March. It might have been 2016. I brought my grandfather out of retirement, and it was me, my father, my grandfather, and my uncles, Manu and L.A. Smooth. We did a 10-man tag, so that was a privilege. 3 generations in one ring. So that was always one of my biggest accomplishments in professional wrestling. Outside of that, being able to tag with my father up and down the East Coast, especially with the Head Shrinkers, and being on WWE a few times, and I also have a WWE tryout coming up for the 3rd time. So hopefully it goes. They say 3rd time's the charm. So let's find out.
Now, what was it like in the WWE when you had your experience there?
Oh man, WWE is being there. It's like home. Every time I go on the road with them, just doing extra work or tryout, it feels like that's where I'm supposed to be. So I'm not gonna stop trying. If I don't make it, I don't make it. But I'm still gonna grind and perform in front of everyone, all up and down the East Coast, West Coast, all over the world, because it's something I love to do. But WWE, man, that's just one place I would love to be.
Awesome, man. Now, thanks again for doing this interview, and good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
This next one is, I'm really interested in this one, Ken Schrager. Very, very, very interested in this one. Sorry to give the ref a follow award. This next match I'm really interested in. It's the first that we've ever had. It's actually an intergender singles match, man versus woman. This ought to be interesting. Your first competitor calls himself the God of War, Frankie Picard.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the God of War, Frankie Picard. And this is going to be a match that you will never forget. Here on Top Rope Wrestling, live from Millville, New Jersey. You know why they call him the God of War, Mike?
Never heard that moniker for him. Why?
Because he is the God of War.
Frankie Picard, he's an impressive looking individual. He's a big man.
And his opponent simply calls herself the Third Death, Adriana!
This intergender match. Here comes Adriana. Fan favorite here in Top Rope Wrestling. And, Mike, I don't know if you know this about these two, but these two are actually a couple outside of the ring.
So, let me get this straight here. Is this a first? Is this a married couple one-on-one extravaganza?
Well, I'm not sure if they're married, but I know that they are together. Like, and
Wow.
I don't like to dig around too much in the locker room, but that is the word on the street.
Wow. Sometimes I'd like to take my girlfriend and get in the squared circle with her for a few rounds. I know how this goes.
And here we go. We are about to start this match. Ring the bell.
Striker, bring it.
Here we go. The fans behind Adriana.
Clearly. You want to see the woman get her comeuppance on this.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh.
Wow. So it's going to be a clean matchup.
Well, clean.
Should be some nice wrestling here. Nothing, no dirty moves or nothing.
Well, we shall see about that, Mike. This is Rick Smooth color commentating with Mike Dotham.
We are here live.
Frankie Picard and Adriana, this love couple.
One-on-one. Intergender match.
I have a feeling Cupid's not going to
Cupid hasn't been shooting his arrows to
shoot his arrows tonight. I think there's going to be some punching and some scratching and some overall domestic dispute.
I don't think so. The way with the smooch before the matchup, I think we're just going to get some nice wrestling. That's it. A standard one-on-one matchup, nothing dirty. Wow.
Chucking this woman around a little bit, like, I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
Well, the problem is, so no one gets their feelings hurt. Whoever loses this match is going to have the other one sleeping on the couch tonight, and you know that's not a good sign.
I wouldn't want to get in there with the God of War, Frankie Picard.
I wouldn't want to get in there with Adriana. They both are pick my butt.
Side headlock. Frankie Picard looks like he's going easy to start, but don't underestimate Adriana. Oh!
In some states, you can go to jail for that. It's domestic abuse. Not here in Top Rope Wrestling. All in good fun.
You might only see a match like this here in Top Rope Wrestling.
True.
Here we go. Tie it up. Side headlock now by Adriana. And here are the fans getting behind her. Back to the car now. Off the ropes. Adriana. Oh!
Wow, he went flying.
You can see the power in those arms of Adriana.
Now what happened was she went into the ropes, and what it does is it picks up the momentum. And now as she speeds towards her opponent with the shoulder block, it nailed him to the point where he almost did a flip in midair before he hit the ground. Impact on that was frightful.
Thank you, Mike Dotham. Ken Striker's got his hands full with this one, calling this one, doesn't he?
I wouldn't want to get between a couple.
That never works out good for the third party, right?
I agree. Test of strength, here we go.
Oh.
Now I'd be shocked if the man lost this one.
She's taking the cheap shot to get her
I
down.
didn't see she tripped. She tripped over it. He didn't do anything.
Is that what happened there, Mike?
She tripped.
Here we go. She's gonna go for it again. I wouldn't go for it again. Oh! She knows that weak spot of his.
He's winded from that one. Knocked the wind right.
Oh!
Forearm shiv right to the dome. 2, 3.
If that wasn't in a ring, the cops might have been called.
I agree. It was brutal.
Oh.
Double axe handle to the small of the back.
Irish whip in the corner. Oh, you missed it. You saw it coming. Oh!
Elbow strike.
Oh!
Back elbow.
What's she gonna do here?
Oh!
Frankie, looks like he's having a little trouble with the ladies right now, doesn't he?
Hey, I wouldn't. He's on his back right now, but not in a good way.
Referee, Ken Striker. 2 count.
Wow, 2.5. 2.5 right there. Striker in great position. We knock him when he's bad, we'll tell you when he's good too. Striker in great position on that call.
Oh! You can hear that contact. Oh!
Ropes, here she comes. He just took her head off.
That could be it. No. She's got some fight in her.
Super kick was nasty. Frankie picking her up.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh. Exchange of blows to the face. This is just turning into a brawl.
Strong style strikes.
Oh, she speared him.
Wow. Adriana is on fire tonight.
Look at her go. And she's got the fan behind her. Referee can't strike. Oh, he barely got it up.
2 3/4.
The card.
She's going to go for it again. 2 and...
You can hear the emotion in this match. I mean, these two wrestlers are together in real life, so I mean, it's kind of like an emotionally driven match. Oh! That could be it.
What a great matchup we've seen so far. Intergender brawl here in Top Rope.
Oh. Fighting on each other's knees. Look at this. Is this what goes on in the Card household late at night?
I sure hope not.
Oh, look at this!
Wow. Unloading on him.
Oh!
Knockout blows right there. 1, 2, 3, Matt. Wow.
But he got a little nonchalant there with that cover.
She left the arm hanging. Now he's got her in the arm bar. He's got her in the Frankie lock. He's got her in the Frankie lock. Oh, and she's free. Into the corner. Here we go. Listen for this. Wait for the impact. Oh! Again?
Another one. Oh!
This is brutal. She's lost it.
She's lost it. She's snapped.
She's woken up.
She's pumped up. Oh!
The crowd is behind her.
What energy! When you hear her yell like that, you know it's just years of frustration, years of just being kept down in the relationship.
Absolutely. We're watching whose TV show tonight? Wham! Right in the mouth.
Oh!
You want to go where for dinner? Boom! Right in the kisser.
Oh! Taking the crap out of him.
He's still breathing. Barely. Can't even get up, the poor guy.
Definitely taking it to him like that. Oh! Kicked her right in the head.
Standing enziguri. Beautifully done.
God of War, Frankie Picard showed his experience in this match, but also it just seems like he just can't finish off the lady.
Well, Adriana's one tough customer. I wouldn't want to, start any trouble with her. Oh, she heads right to the throat.
It'd be easy reffing a match like this, you know? Oh!
Ariato.
Look at her go! I don't know where she's just pulling all this strength from.
Unbelievable.
Oh!
Last time I saw a man take a beating from a woman this bad, her name was Lorena Bobbitt.
These guys, they look like they're both getting a little out of gas here, and it's been a brawl, there's no doubt about it. But wait, what's going on?
They're kissing and making up in the middle of the match? There's no kissing in wrestling!
You You know, this is how they do it. They just beat the crap out of each other, and then they have their little makeup session, if you know what I'm saying.
Hell of a relationship, Smooth. Hell of a relationship.
It's not my relationship, Mike. This is why I'm single. Oh, look at this. Look at this low life. Here comes Marvelous Mike Dalton.
Wait a minute.
Jermaine Jubilee. Oh, wow. Here we go. Here we go.
Wait a minute. What's going on?
We got Jermaine Jubilee and the Sorceress.
They came to see wrestling. They came to see wrestlers. They came to see somebody like me, Mr. BET, Jermaine Jubilee, Morgan, Marvelous Mike. We are wrestling, not a love fest. We're not here to kiss and hug. We're here to bang, hang, and string people up. So, what I'm saying is, since y'all think y'all hot stuff, exactly, why don't me and my partner take on this sick love fest?
Amen, brother. Amen, Mr. BET.
Hey, BET, I didn't know that you were the maker of matches. I'll do it. So, you guys want to see these two? Morgan and Jubilee get a ring with Frankie McCart and Adriana?
Yes.
Frankie, how'd that do? Make it so. This is now an intergender tag team match.
Yeah.
You heard it. Straight from the boss's mouth. Johnny Logan.
Thank goodness for Mr. BET coming in here and breaking up this gross love fest.
Here we go.
You're going to want to thank all your people. Because tonight, we're going to equal ratings.
So
Brandon
sick.
from Dalton.
So sick. A love fest. Really? Kissing and hugging, is this what y'all paid for?
So here we go. Jermaine Jubilee.
Mr. BET echoing my sentiment.
Sorceress Morgan.
Squared Circle's a sacred place. It is not a place for kissing and loving. It's a place for bloodshed and violence.
Are you ready for this?
We are here to see a brawl, Mike Donovan. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of that myself. You know?
All right, man. Let's go. Don't stand around. These people came to see some wrestling. Don't stand around. No.
It's almost not fair. These guys just put on their own match, you know?
Hey, Mr. BET's win-loss record is going to look a little bit nicer after this.
What is this?
What is happening?
Wait a minute. I know who this is.
What's that?
That's Trigger and Lexa Rhodes.
What are they doing here?
Let's hear what they got to say.
I didn't come all the way from the West for nothing. We are former intergender tag team champions. First ever man and woman tag team champions. Retired tag team champions. So, the two of you will go up against the former retired tag team champions, Guns and Roses.
So, you guys want a three-way tag? Independent tag match? Well, again, make it so. This is now a triple threat intergender tag team match. The first one to get pinned will become #1 contender for tonight's new championship that's being introduced, Ken Striker, the No Limits title.
Mike Dalton does not look happy about this. And I'll tell you what, being a manager out there, you never know what's coming. You got to stay on your toes.
So now we've got a 6-person intergender 3-way dance.
Yes, a triple threat intergender dance.
Excellent. First pinfall wins.
Here we go, Jubilee and Trigger just working over Frankie McCart, who's already been in a match. I mean, Something about this just doesn't feel right. Oh! Just dropped him.
Well, they are the retired intergender tag team champions of the world. The team of Guns N' Roses, Trigger Happy and Lexa Rose.
Oh! Frankie's out. The comeback and just knocked out. Look at this. Beautiful textbook suplex.
Pulled the trigger on that one.
And now the couple is united as a tag team. Look at Frankie coming back. Trying to get to his partner.
Beautiful submission maneuver, cranking the shoulder backwards along with the neck, putting him in an uncomfortable position right now. Oh!
Look at this! Look at this! The women are brawling out here on the outside. Look at this! They're working over Adriana.
That is a double team effort.
Oh!
Adriana is a wild woman.
Knocked them both down. She's got to watch out for the Sorceress Morgan out there.
He's
You never
holding.
know what she's up to.
Oh, there it goes.
Dropped him.
Short-term alliance. Now it's over. Mr. BT and Trigger, I can't assume, are going to get along after that one. They tried, and that's what happened.
And here comes Adriana.
And I'd run if I was anybody in that ring right now.
She is definitely a strong woman. Look at Frankie now getting his second win. He's fighting with all he's got. Mr. BT fresh in the ring. Oh! Big splashes at the quarter.
More action on the outside.
Look out.
Too much action to keep up with.
She's got his woman.
Oh, no.
Leading him on, too. Look at this. Wait a minute. She doesn't see the steps. Wait a minute. Oh! You gotta have eyes in the back of your head here at Top Rope Wrestling, or that might happen to you.
That looks painful. That looks painful.
That might have something to do with her bad luck from all the sorcery she's been doing. And Mike Dalton seeing if they're okay, but BT now.
Take her out, Morgan.
Coming after Lexa Rose.
What to make of this?
Trigger coming in to save his woman.
Checking on her, making sure she's okay. Inside the ring, here we go. Mr. BET in control.
Mr. BET is one bad dude. Wait a minute. Adriana got him up.
Samoan drop. Samoan drop on Jermaine Jubilee. Adriana. 1, 2.
Oh!
2.5.
Barely got out of that.
Action on the outside again.
Wait a minute. She's got that book. What's inside that book?
Oh!
Probably a brick in there.
Oh!
Adriana just drops the Sorceress Morgan.
Adriana drops Mr. Jermaine BET Jubilee.
Oh, she got it.
Wow.
Wow.
Dalton's having none of it because he's on the loser's end of the purse tonight. So love prevails after all. Love prevails, huh? Makes me sick.
Hey, T, they're gonna get dirty. I'm telling you right now. We're coming back for them again.
Yeah, how does it feel to be on the losing end there, Marvelous Mike? And look at the winners here. The God of War, Frankie Picard, and Adriana. And look at the losers here.
Mr. BT doesn't know what happened. This was an impromptu matchup. He wasn't prepared.
That's got to affect the ego. There are your winners, ladies and gentlemen. Frankie Picard, Adriana.
Frankie Picard, and the third Adriana. And hey, Adriana, you get to face whoever wins the Battle Royal at our next event. Whoever wins the No Limits title tonight for getting that pinfall. Right? Was that the thing?
Adriana!
Yo, this is the Fence Man here with the Fence Man exclusive. I'm here with David Arquette. What's up, David?
I'm good. How are you, Fence Man?
Doing pretty good, man. Now, how was your match tonight?
It was good. Bully Ray came up at the end, though, jacked my back up, put me through a table. So it was going good, but the Sandman came in and I shared a beer with him, and my partner RJ City turned on me. As usual.
Listen, I have pictures to sell. This guy's coming in, he's making this money, he's cashing residual checks. I didn't sell one fucking shit. I had to go into business for myself, you know what I mean? A little bit. I apologize to you before I did it.
Well,
so it's a courtesy. I would love to sell something.
Did you bring any shirts?
I brought a couple. I don't know where they are right now, but I have a couple.
Where are your photos?
Where's your agent? Where's your manager? Where's the big entourage, the David entourage? You're wearing a Ted DiBiase shirt. Is it bootleg? I don't even know. What are these, Keds? I don't know what to do. And then somehow we won. Riddle me that.
We did. We won. We're undefeated as a tag team. You know that, right?
The Dumont Network.
I'm with I'm the Fence Man with Pro Wrestling
You're
Archives,
the Fence Man.
and also
Why,
with
because you're
Top
pale
Rope
and you
TV.
just stand there and you're very wooden.
Kind of like that. Yeah, my last name's Fenstermaker. So anyway, what did you think of when the whole angle when Vince Russo had you win the WCW title?
Well, it was an honor to be a WCW champion, and I'm in the record books. RJ, people like RJ are always very jealous, but you can't turn back the clocks of time and the clock of time? I don't know.
Sands of time.
Yeah.
He's a very eloquent partner. It's so funny. He's the actor, yet I'm the one cutting the promos, too. I'm really propping it up in all corners here.
Okay. Now, anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to shoot on at all?
Nah, Fence Man. Sorry, I've still got Sandman on my mind. He helped save me.
Yo, this is the Fence Man here with this week's Top Rope TV Fence Man exclusive. I'm here with Molly Holly.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, now Molly, this is an awesome seminar, by the way, and thank you for coming up here, and thanks to Joey Bellini with Warriors of Wrestling for having her. Now, first off, what was it like working for WCW and the Team Madness angle with Macho Man and Medusa?
Well, it was a great experience for me to go from the Indies, working in front of 20 people, to be on Nitro during the hottest time when wrestling, the Monday Night Wars were happening. And so for me, it was awesome to be with the people that I used to watch on television as a child, to be in the ring with them. I mean, it was surreal to actually be a part of that experience. I loved it. It was definitely one of the highlights, just to go from minor leagues to being in the main event.
Very cool. And you've quoted been quoted as saying that your angle in WWE with Spike Dudley has been one of the biggest highlights of your career. What made that so?
Well, to be a part of a storyline that fans can connect with, or to look forward to what's going to happen next, that makes the job so worth it, because it's one thing to have a match where you're responsible for entertaining the fans with that, but when there's a story attached to it, you can draw so much more emotion out of the fans and out of yourself to really put on a good show, and so that's why I love that time with Spike.
Okay. Thank you. Now, when the WWF became WWE, you underwent a huge transformation, not just gimmick, but look as well. What was it brought on by changes in WWE that you began to think it was time for something different?
Well, they just needed a heel, and so they just told me to be a heel, and then they didn't really know what kind. And Ivory was super popular with the right to censor, so I was just kind of like a knockoff version of the Ivory's right to censor type of gimmick as a heel, and it worked for me. It was okay. I mean, I didn't really enjoy being a heel, but the transformation was just because Jazz had hurt her knee and they needed a heel, and so they just asked me if I would do it, and I did.
Okay. Thank you. And then you've appeared very sporadically for various independent companies and for WWE. But what made you decide to enter into the very first women's Royal Rumble match?
Well, I got the call from Talent Relations a couple of months before the Rumble, and they just asked me if I wanted to. And I told them I wasn't sure because I didn't want to disappoint the fans. Like, I haven't really done any in-ring stuff for a really long time. I mean, over 10 years. And so I just was worried that I was going to disappoint. And so I was like, I don't know if I should. And they assured me that, you know, I'd be able to practice and that everything would be fine. And so I agreed to do it. And I'm glad I did. It was really fun to catch up with old friends.
Very cool. And now, will you be working any more on-screen events with WWE in the future?
If they offer me a lot of money, the answer is yes. It's possible. I mean, I have no idea if they're calling me back to do stuff, but I'm always flattered when they remember me or ask me to do something. And so if they call me and if it's something I feel like I can pull off, then I'll probably say yes.
Okay. Very cool. And now, what are your thoughts on Beth Phoenix? I know you and her have had a friendship with each other in the indie circuit. Now, would you like to talk about your friendship with Beth Phoenix at all?
Well, I really never worked with Beth full time. Like, she was a fan, and she came and met me at some WWE fan access type of thing. And I really liked her, and she gave me a VHS tape, and she told me she was a pro wrestler. I watched it. I thought she was good. I helped her with her tryouts and everything. But we never, like, hung out on the indies. And really, I had left the WWE about the time that she had started. So we never really worked together. But during the time that she was trying to make it, I knew she was going to be good. And so I did my best to try to help her at least put her best foot forward, even though she already had the talent, and she might have made it regardless of me. But I just saw something special in her, and so, like I said, we didn't really like hang out a bunch, but I just knew that she was super talented and that she deserved to be a women's champion.
Okay. Now, also, I was watching a video on YouTube on Gorgeous George, and she mentioned you in the video. Now, like, have you ever worked with Gorgeous George or had any experience with her?
Well, it was actually because of Gorgeous George that I got my big break in WCW. She asked Macho Man if I could be a part of their entourage on television, and he said yes. So I taught her the wrestling moves that helped her in her match against Charles Robinson at one of the WCW pay-per-views. And even though she's wild and crazy, I really enjoyed her friendship and working with her.
I'm here with Abdullah the Butcher. How are you doing today, Abdullah?
Very good, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and it's a pleasure to have someone from the WWE Hall of Fame. Could you tell the wrestling fans?
Wait a minute. You have a lot of good wrestlers here. You got a lot of top wrestlers, top guys, big guys. Okay. In the wrestling business, it's got to be like a carnival or a circus. Mm-hmm. You can't have the same guys with muscles and stuff. You understand? Okay. And if you ask Bobby Fulton, he would tell you, Stan Hansen, okay, they got some good big guys here working. Okay. And they're professionals. Mm-hmm. You could take all these guys here to Tokyo, San Juan, Puerto Rico, all over Australia and everything, mm-hmm, and they could draw a lot of money. Okay. Yep.
Right, now, how'd you get your start in the wrestling business anyways?
How did I get my start? I was teaching a karate for Bert Ruby, and Jack Britton was the main one who got me into the business. Okay. Him and Gino Brito. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Now, do you have any inspirations that got you into the business at all?
Well, I knew this guy, I don't want to say it, but Bobby Fulton, you know what I mean? We've been friends for many, many, many years. And I used to look at him wrestle and stuff like that, and I liked the way he wrestled. He had a partner and stuff like that. He's been to Japan with me many times, and that's it.
Do you have any memorable matches at all in your career that stick out to you?
I had a lot of matches with Bruiser Brody, mm-hmm, the Real Sheik, you understand? Andre the Giant, okay, Hulk Hogan, all of them. I wrestled everybody. I've been in the business 50-something years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, what advice would you give to somebody that's just coming into the wrestling business, that's learning?
Well, the guys who they got here now, in my opinion, Bobby, would you just holler out something? These are good top guys here. You could take them any place and draw money with them. You got big guys. Every time you go to a wrestling match, you see what? You see guys doing the same thing, same routine, same bumps, same everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's different now.
Yeah. How do you like? What would you say? Like you think about the wrestling business now, like with WWE and the indie circuit.
Look, I don't talk about none of the boys who are in the business. They're trying to make a living. You understand?
Okay.
But the guys, what I see here, and Stan Hansen said the same thing, Eddie said the same thing, and Bobby Fulton said the same thing. These guys here, you can take any place and draw money with them because they look good.
All right. Okay. Now, do you have anything else you'd like to add at all? Like, what have you been doing lately with yourself?
Well, I'm waiting for to get my hip replacement. I'm getting ready to go to Tokyo on February the 16th. I'm going to retire over there, and with Giant Bob, who's been dead for 25 years, no, 20 years, and I'm going to retire over there. But as soon as I get my hip done, I'll be back.
Okay. Now, you're going to have any final matches at all, or?
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? I'm on my way out? Huh? If Bobby Fulton can keep going, why can't I keep going? If Stan Hansen can keep going, why can't I keep going?
Absolutely, more power to you, bro. I've been following you forever, and honestly, like I look up to you. I look up to you.
Tell the truth.
I look up to you. I know you could do it. You could do anything that you put your mind to.
I'm going to. But all these guys who are here, and even this man here, he's seen a lot of guys. But you big guys here, believe me when I tell you this, you guys can go any place because you know how to produce, and you're not doing the same thing over and over and over. And that's it.
Okay. Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, and
Me and Stan Hansen, maybe Bobby Fulton, and this little guy here. You understand? He used to be my manager, and the doctor here, Stan Hansen. We're going to see if we can get these guys into Japan.
Yeah, that would be cool, man.
If they get into Japan, then they won't know how to act to be like Bobby Fulton and Abdullah the Butcher and Stan Hansen.
Awesome.
And
man.
this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Come here.
Yeah, come on in, man.
Come here.
Come on in.
Come on, Bobby. Come in here.
Come on in. We don't bite.
Come on.
Come on,
Bruiser
Barbara.
Brody's wife, come on in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? This is the only lady who brings a few books to sell. And she sells out real fast. And I say, where's the rest of your books at? You know what she says? Oh, I didn't bring that many, right? And I started looking around. I said, you know, Brody, someplace around here. Saying Abdullah, tell her something, right? So that's it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us on the show, man. Much,
Okay, so you got
much
it.
respect.
Let me see that. You're good.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, man.
See this here, you're good.
Yeah, man.
Huh? You like that? Don't you like
Yeah,
pain?
man.
I love
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah, I love it.
Eddie, come here, Eddie. Come here. Come here, Eddie. This guy here, this is Eddie.
Fast Eddie, Puerto Rico.
Puerto
How's it
Rico.
going, bro?
All right, bro.
Good, man.
He was the promoter over there. He's got a lot of tapes. He's got a lot of everything.
Okay.
And this guy is really in.
You do, I think.
Awesome.
Big guys, come here. Let me say something to you. These guys look good, don't they?
You look great.
You guys produce. When I say produce, you understand? You guys got some heavy shit. You understand? If you keep doing it, but you got to go to different areas.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So if I can, if you can give some pictures, addresses.
Yes, sir.
I'm leaving for Tokyo on February the 16th. I can take them there and pass them out. If you got a tape, I can give it to those guys over there. because I'm a retirer in Japan. I've been there 50 years.
Awesome.
I'm 78.
I'd love to go back there with you too. I remember we went to the place, and there was he had an open bar. We went in there, and they said Abdullah doesn't have a tab in here. You guys all night, and then when he got ready to leave, he does his own thing. All of a sudden, he disappears, and the waitress came over to me and she said, "You were with Mr. Abdullah the rest of the evening. You don't have to worry about. There is no tab. Enjoy yourself." You're a guest of Mr. Abdullah.
But the best one, listen to this here, the best one. I was in there eating a Kobe beef steak. Stay here. I was eating the Kobe beef steak, right? And the mafia guys, they paid for my, thing. It's $350. So JJ, he comes in, right? And he sits down. He says, "Oh, that steak's good." And
I'm looking at the menu, and I'm looking at steaks, and the most expensive steak on the menu was like 3,000 yen. And I looked at Abdullah. Abdullah had a steak hanging off the plate. I said, "Well, this must be the 3,000 yen steak." So instead of saying, "I'll take that," I said, "I'll have what Mr. Abdullah is having." So they brought out a steak like his hanging off the plate, and a few minutes later they brought me the bill. It was like 12,000 yen, like $400.
Wow. You know what he done? What? He looked at me like this.
You got me.
Wow. He said, "You got me."
Yep.
And
I
then
never forgot it.
What he done? He took
it to myself.
He took the bill and went like this. But those are good days, though. But
if I don't see you, bless you.
all right, sir. Take care of yourself. Be careful. All right, you got it. These guys here, and you know it.
Yeah.
These guys produce. Did you see the guy take the fork
Yeah, I saw it.
in his head?
Yeah, it was good. Pretty. Yeah, it was.
The people were going crazy.
Yeah.
If he'd have been any place, they'd have went insane for what he done, sticking the fork in his head. This guy here is great. Okay. All right. Bobby Fulton. Where's my manager? Dylan. You want to say something or what?
You say something, bro?
This guy right here, every Hall of Fame. If it is a Hall of Fame, this guy right here is in it. I'm just saying, one of the greatest of all time. It's the truth.
But that's why he gives me a hard time, and I don't want to say nothing bad about him. But one day, I got to whoop his ass. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Anything else you want?
No, that was great, man. Thank you.
Get the fork out, Butcher. Get the fork. It's in your jacket.
Yeah.
Get your fork. Stab him. I'll get your fork. These guys here, Bobby Fulton, Stan Hansen, and myself, we're going to try to get these guys in Japan.
Okay.
Because these guys are good. You understand? Because they don't do the same bullshit. They look good, real good. Gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Like you see it, you guys got it? Cool. Take care.
And that was Abdullah the Butcher.